Once upon an infinite time, God saw the animals on earth were suffering from lack of human compassion, understanding, and respect. He looked around his celestial palace for an angel to send to earth to rectify things, and asked for a volunteer. A little angel felt her heart jump in her breast when she heard the animals' plight, but hesitated in raising her hand because she really didn't want another earthly experience. God, in all his infinite wisdom, knew that she was the perfect angel for this task. Plus, it was her time for another lesson in Earth School. He sent Pegasus to awaken the love in her heart for animals. Strengthened by this love, she overcame her reluctance and shyly raised her hand. God knew the challenges she would face would not be easy, so he christened her Jaya Devi, the goddess of victory, and sent her on her way with a hug and a promise to always be with her. So down the golden staircase Jaya went, fully determined to accomplish her divinely appointed mission. She would, by God, help the animals. Born when her Leo sun was conjunct with Chiron, Jaya brought to earth Leo's archetypal energies of bravery and loyalty, and Chiron's half-horse, half-human gift of holistic healing with the arts. She chose the perfect family to be born into for her free-loving, earthy spirit. Her people were nomads, gypsies who lived in the mountainous countryside of Switzerland. She was only about 3 years old when one day, while walking through town, she got separated from her family. All attempts to find them failed. She tells the tale of what happened next in her own words. I have no parents or family and live off the street, finding whatever food and shelter I can. The streets are cobblestone. I'm barefoot. My body and clothes are dirty and ragged. I have short curly hair. I think I'm a mute, or just quiet, because I have no one and there is no one to talk to. I'm also afraid of people and stay away from them. I'm thrilled when I find copper coins on the street. They're real treasures and I quickly pick them up. All of a sudden, a man in a horse-drawn cart comes along. He sees me, stops, and asks if he can help. I nod. He picks me up, puts me on the seat of the wagon next to him. We leave town and drive into the country. I'm happy. I feel this man is good, kind, and will take care of me. We don't talk, just ride. We come to a farm. He stops the wagon, gets off, and puts me down on the ground. He says he has to leave me there. He says he's sorry and tries to reassure me that I will be fine. Then he gets back on the wagon and drives off. I feel abandoned again, let down, betrayed, and afraid. I'm now all alone in a strange place. As I look around for somewhere to hide, I see a barn. I walk towards it, and as I get closer, I see a horse inside. I think this might be a good place to hide, even though there's this gigantic animal inside. The unknown of the farm and what the people might do if they find me is more frightening than hiding in the stall with this animal. I managed to get inside. First, I'm amazed and overwhelmed by this huge animal. I go to the corner of the stall and sit on my haunches, ready to leap away from the creature should he come near me. I hear him eat, grinding hay and oats between his teeth. I'm behind him. I see his large feet and legs and follow the tip of his tail up to his massive rump looming way above me. He turns and comes over to investigate the newcomer in his home. I freeze as his great head bends down in front of me. He snorts, and the breath from his nostrils causes me to jump back in fear. He looks at me and then, ever so gently, nudges me with his muzzle. I'm at first terrified, but after a few seconds, I start to relax. Feelings of peace and safety come over me. I reach over and touch his nearby leg. He doesn't move. I feel good and slowly wrap my little girl's arms around his strong leg. As I lean my head against him, he rests his great head on the back of my shoulder. We stay that way for a while. When he returns to eating, I fall asleep. I live with him in this stall for some time. I eat his food and drink his water. I go to the bathroom in one of the stall corners and I cover myself with a blanket of straw when I sleep. Whenever anyone would come to look in on him, he would move his body to block their view of me. He knew. He protected me. He became my family. A knowing was born in my soul. There was one living being that I could trust, one that wouldn't abandon, reject, or betray me. The horse I lived with. I felt great love for him and vowed I would repay his kindness to me one day. Then one day, my horse friend was taken away. I panicked because I didn't know where they were taking him and I couldn't do anything to stop them. I'm now about 6 years old. I decided I could no longer stay at the farm without my friend and protector. So early one morning, I snuck out and started walking down a dirt road into a forest. I came to an encampment of gypsy trailers. All of a sudden, I heard a horse whinny. My heart jumped in my chest and I ran towards the sound, hoping it was my friend. But sadly, it wasn't. A neighing horse tied to one of the wagons was struggling to free himself. A rope had cast one of his legs. Without hesitation, I loosened the rope to free him. A woman saw me and brought me into the camp circle. We ate roast pork, sang and danced into the wee hours. The familiar gypsy music warmed my heart, and I fell asleep by the fire. The next day, a family invited me to live with them in exchange for helping with chores and taking care of their horses. I felt good with them and agreed. They were musicians and taught me to sing and dance to the fiery Gitano music. Years passed. Because I could tell what horses felt and thought, I became the camp's best horse tender. I also excelled in singing and dancing. All went well for a while. But when I was about 13 years old, my foster father tried to sexually hurt me. I became very afraid and knew I couldn't stay with them any longer. So early the next morning, I kissed the horses goodbye and left camp with only some bread and clothes on my back. The creatures in the forest welcomed me and led me to a village. There I found a traveling gypsy theater troupe performing in the square. The music lured me like a Pied Piper, and I asked if I could join them in a fandango. I became drunk with gypsy fire. The leader appreciated my passion and invited me to join the troupe. The next few years, I traveled the countryside with this troupe, singing, dancing, and telling stories. I fell in love with the lead singer and got married. Even though life was good, I slowly was losing my wild woman spirit. My husband was domineering and possessive. I spent more and more time going off into the woods with my horse and dogs. I needed silence and solitude. My husband didn't understand. One day when I came back to camp, I found him with another woman. I was crushed. The pain of being betrayed again went deeper this time than ever before. I sank into depression and dropped out of performing with the troupe. I realized I needed to reconnect with my soul and could no longer stay with the man who had betrayed me. Once again, I left home and journeyed into the forest. I lived for a while with all of the creatures of the wild. Wolves and squirrels were my special friends. There in peace, I regained my strength. Then one day, I met the wild woman of the forest, the goddess Ardwina. She infused me with her qualities of courage, passion, and independence. And when I was ready, led me out of the forest and into a village. There I found a local blacksmith, a burly white man who smelled of tobacco and alcohol, who reportedly did things to help animals. I asked him if he would take me on as an apprentice and teach me how to heal horses. He didn't think I was worth much, being a girl and all, but needed help mucking out stalls, so agreed. The lessons that followed, however, brought anguish to my soul. I thought his methods were insensitive and cruel. Nevertheless, time passed and I learned his ways. But the knowledge I gained confused me and clouded my vision. The horses told me one thing and I was told to do another. Finally, one day, when I was half-heartedly performing a surgical operation, I made an innocent mistake. The horse did not suffer, but the blacksmith was outraged and mercilessly banished me from his tutelage. Life on earth now was definitely the pits. I wondered where God was. Why had he abandoned me? Why, after all I had done, Had I not done something significant to help the animals? Did I miss a beat in the music? A hold measure? Was it the wrong tune? Where did I go wrong? And then I heard,
take flight, oh loved one. Your journey has just begun. Take flight.
You have not danced so badly, my dear, trying to hold hands with the beautiful one. You have waltzed with great style, my sweet, crushed angel, to have ever neared God's heart at all. Our partner is notoriously difficult to follow, and even his best musicians are not always easy to hear. So what if the music has stopped for a while? So what if the price of admission to the divine is out of reach tonight? So what, my dear, if you do not have the ante to gamble for real love? The mind and the body are famous for holding the heart ransom. But Hafiz knows the beloved's eternal habits. Have patience, for he will not be able to resist your longing for long. You have not danced so badly, my dear, trying to kiss the beautiful one. You have actually waltzed with tremendous style. Oh, my sweet, crushed angel. The music returned to my heart. I remembered the horse that protected and took care of me many years ago, and my vow to repay his kindness one day. I now understood what God meant when he said that following the path of the heart was not going to be easy. But he did say he would always be with me. So remembering that loving and rededicating myself to my mission was the only way to live and get back home. I got back on my horse and headed towards the sun.